From a 1 HP clutch in the World Finals to pulling 15 legendaries in a row, here are the greatest moments in Clash Royale history. This is the closest match in Clash Royale history, and it was pulled off in the World Finals. Back in 2019, pro player Surgical Goblin was already stressed because his visa had almost ruined the trip just 24 hours earlier. But he made it to the World Finals, sat down across from Morton, and what followed is still considered one of the greatest games ever played. It was a sudden death overtime. Both towers were burning down fast. Every hit mattered, and then his Inferno Tower locked on. One last tick of damage and Morton's tower survived on 1 HP. That's basically like surviving a car crash with a paper cut. But the crazy thing is, because of tiebreakers, that still handed Surgical Goblin the win. So Morton didn't lose by skill, he lost to the Clash Royale version of lag. What's the most amount of gems you've ever seen on a single account? Most people would probably guess something like 50,000, maybe 100,000 if you're lucky. But that doesn't even come close to the actual world record. Back in 2016, a YouTuber named Kaka uploaded a live stream where he was spending gems. And if you look at the top of his screen, he wasn't sitting on 100,000. He had over 2 million gems. The entire stream was just him casually burning through them like it was nothing. And to put that into perspective, you'd have to spend over $15,000 in real money just to get that many gems. Yeah, I'm feeling broke just saying that. Imagine sitting down, opening a chest, and pulling not one legendary, but 15 in a row. For most Clash Royale players, a single legendary card is enough to make their entire day. But YouTuber Ben Tim shattered expectations when he pulled back-to-back 15 legendaries in one insane sitting. Not one, not two, but 15! Moments like these are so unbelievable, so kudos to Ben. Everyone knows draws in Clash Royale are pretty rare, but have you ever had a 3-crown draw? It only happens if you and your opponent take down each other's king tower in the exact same millisecond, or if the match timer runs out and somehow both sides have dealt the exact same damage. And the odds of that happening are so ridiculously low, it's basically rarer than me getting a real girlfriend. Next time you feel like things are about to go down, just make sure you're recording, because no one believes a 3-crown draw unless they see it. This Clash Royale glitch was so broken it got thousands of players permanently banned overnight. It was called the Lucky Drop exploit. Players discovered a way to literally force the game to hand them the exact rewards they wanted. But then Supercell came crashing down with mass permabans, even wiping the main accounts of some of the top creators like Riley and Aragons. Some players defended the bans, others demanded refunds, and for a few days it felt like Clash Royale had a full-on civil war. Supercell eventually backtracked, unbanned accounts, and handed out gold refunds. But imagine the trauma of watching your account disappear overnight. I bet you've checked the global rankings at least once. We all do it just to see how far we are from the top players. Usually the leaderboard is stacked with grinders holding ridiculous trophies, running decks that could make even the richest players jealous. But in January 22, a hacker showed up in Clash Royale. Now keep in mind, it's insanely hard to hack this game. Supercell watches everything, but somehow this guy slipped through the system with cheats so broken, his opponents literally couldn't place a single troop. He went so hard with the exploits that he actually reached #1 on the global leaderboard. For a moment, the best Clash Royale player in the world was a hacker. I guess it's safe to assume that a lot of people got fired from Supercell that year. You can actually make real money playing Clash Royale. Well, if you're good. In 2019, one player actually lost $150,000 in a single match. In the league finals, Canario was up against Hire with the grand prize on the line. At first, it looked like Canario had it secured. He took a tower early and had full control. But that's when Hire started climbing back, and it looked like Canario was about to lose everything. But against all odds, as the clock ran out, he made a legendary play and survived with just 7 HP left on his tower. That has to be one of the craziest moments in Clash Royale history, because imagine losing $150,000 to 7 HP. I bet you didn't know OJ is actually really good at Clash Royale. Back in the day, there was this insanely tough strategy to pull off, and OJ managed to nail it in a 2v2, just to troll. He and his friends started by purposely throwing the match, making it look like an easy win for the opponents. But right when the time was perfect, they unleashed the combo. Double goblins with mirror and clone. Suddenly, the enemy team was buried under a rain of goblins. Imagine queuing up against your favorite YouTuber, thinking you've got him, only for him to drop an endless goblin army on you out of nowhere. Ouch. What is the fastest time you can finish a Clash Royale game? Most people wrap up within a few minutes. Sometimes it drags into overtime, sometimes it ends with a quick push, but it's never instant. However, the fastest game ever recorded in Clash Royale didn't just end in under a minute, but it ended in 6 seconds. The player who pulled it off caught their opponent completely off guard with the perfect opening hand. Instead of playing normally, Additionally, he used Tornado to drag every enemy troop straight onto his tower, deleting it almost instantly. Game over before the opponent even had a chance to react. To put that in perspective, 6 seconds is less than what it would take for you to go and grab a snack from the pantry. Everyone loves magic archers. They only cost 4 elixir, they're safe to drop, and they do deal considerable damage. But what happens if you don't just play one, but 100 of them? In one match, a player named Devin decided to take things way too far. He kept cycling and stacking until he had an army of over 100 magic archers on the field. At that point, it wasn't even a match anymore, it was a firing squad. Imagine trying to defend while 100 arrows are being shot at you every second. Safe to say, Devin didn't just win the match, he traumatized his opponent for life. Everyone wants a maxed out deck in Clash Royale. The problem is it usually takes months of grinding, endless chest openings, and way too much patience to ever get there. But what if I told you Orange Juice Gaming pulled it off in just minutes? He went on an ult, pulled out his credit card, and instantly had a fully maxed out deck, all while sitting at 0 trophies. That's like owning a Ferrari and never even taking it out of the garage, just letting it sit there while you walk to work. The world record win streak in Clash Royale is by a YouTuber named Ian77, who managed an unbelievable 117 wins in a row. And the way he did it makes it even crazier, because instead of spreading it out over several days, he pulled off the entire streak in a single sitting while recording the whole thing for a video. Throughout the run, he was constantly on edge since there were multiple moments where it looked like the streak was about to end. Yet somehow he managed to hold on every single time, pushing it further and further until he reached that insane 117 mark. I think he needs to touch some grass. How long did it take for you to reach your first 1,000 trophies in Clash Royale? For most new players, it can take weeks, even months of grinding. But one YouTuber named Cashman did something so insane that even the biggest content creators still talk about it. He did a challenge where he started from 0 on a brand new account and pushed all the way to 5,000 trophies. And the crazy part is that he wasn't just messing around, he streamed the entire thing live. After hours of non-stop matches, he finally hit that 5k mark, and it only took him about 9 hours. Even in a good season, pros barely cross 9k trophies, and Cashman hit more than half of that in less than half a day. But here's what really makes it legendary. He did the whole run completely free to play, no money spent. Even if Elon Musk bought a maxed out account, I don't think he'd come close to pulling this off. Did you know how insanely hard it used to be to get just one legendary card in Clash Royale? Nowadays, you might be sitting on a whole collection, but if you were around in the early days, you know exactly how painful it was. Players would grind for weeks, open chest after chest, and end up with nothing but commons and rares. But even worse, silver chests had only a 1 in 1,000 chance of giving you a legendary, and if you were dreaming of getting a champion, the odds were basically 1 in 10,000. That's not luck, that's lottery numbers. So if you've ever pulled a legendary or a champion out of a random chest, you're basically blessed by the Clash gods. Imagine getting a common card after opening the legendary chest. For some of us OGs, we don't need to imagine. In Clash Royale, when you open a legendary chest, you always get a legendary card. But that changed when a glitch caused the legendary chest to give a common card. Yes, people spent 500 gems to get a common card. Supercell fixed it quickly, but the memory still haunts us OGs. Some glitches are funny, but this one was just straight up painful. What's the single luckiest chest Clash Royale has ever given players? Back in 2016, free chests were already a blessing, and pulling a legendary from one felt like hitting the jackpot. But years later, Clash Royale introduced the Ultra Pro Max Legendary Lucky Chest. This insane chest didn't just hand out one legendary, but dropped 2 of them. And to top it off, even a champion through the strike feature. Forget lucky, that's just downright broken. What if you queued into Clash Royale and lost to a level 1 player with 6,000 trophies? Yeah, you heard me. There's a historical level 1 player who reached 6,000 trophies without upgrading a single card. The craziest part was that their Princess Tower only dealt 50 damage per shot, yet they still managed to beat countless players. Imagine the embarrassment of losing to that guy. And there you have it, 18 of the greatest moments in Clash Royale history. Like and subscribe and watch the video on screen right now!